Wukong, Jarvan, Xin Zhao. So this is where things like Pantheon start to get really good. I wonder if we're going to start to see even this Pantheon, or not Pantheon, the Trundle champion. Monki has been a little bit more exploratory.
Jace is open.
Jace is open. Does Monki play it though? We have yet to see him pick this champion.
Oh, regardless if he does or doesn't, Team W is like, we got to pick it anyway. Hey, you can still flex it out, right? You could elect to throw it in mid, maybe even in top. It's way worse there, but they got it.
Now AD carry pool's also getting pinched. MF is probably the strongest AD carry left. You can make an argument for a Corki or even a Aphelios, but Aphelios is banned. You're going to take Sion. So there's an option here, Yanni, where you could go Trundle into Jace, and because you don't have to like tank shred, you can try to use him to like pillar cancel. I think it's a little excessive, but now with Sheer having access to it, it is something you have to think about in terms of just wanting to reduce their ways of answering a big beefy front line.
I do wonder if this Sion lock-in will also make WE think about flexing out that Jace to give Monki his Trundle. I don't know if that'll be the case, but it is certainly something to think about. With this Jhin lock-in, just trying to really take advantage of the Jace shock blasts, root up some targets, and pick up some kills.
Good range. I want to see strong front line. I think WE should be looking at taking Rel here. You do not want to give a team with Alistar Fearless banned away MF. MF Rel is a dangerous combo, and yes, you can do some good in the lane, but I think it's incredibly difficult to try to play this matchup out. You'll have extra, again, the ability to outreach, you know, get to a target that is a screen away with Jhin and Jace. Very good, but you need to be in standoff situations. That is when that tends to excel. When both teams are meeting at an objective and are unable to start it or unwilling to do so, maybe waiting for someone to find a flank, that's when this Jace and Jhin get a lot of value. Now, we're gonna head into the second phase here, and I need to see frontline here for WE. Otherwise, I think that this combo that they have doesn't pan out.
I think you're right about that. We'll see what the move is going to be here for these second half of bans. We saw LNG take great effect with Misfortune and Rel in their last series against Undertalk. It was really what broke the game open for them in a tough deadlock, essentially, in that match. More mid laners getting taken away. Again, this Twisted Fate, a big respect ban toward Karis now.
I feel like Akali is the next big up. And we are in 26-2, everybody, so Mel is perfectly fine here. Mel is incredible versus what they're showing, gives them the ability to re-engage or rebuttal some of these projectiles. And something that we've seen with Mel, if you don't know, is that when you do block the projectiles, they're even faster than they would have come out originally. So it is going to be even more tough on 0 ping to dodge Jace Q when it is flying back at you like 25 times faster.
All right, let's see, that last ban's to Leah, so Team WE getting rid of those globals that they've had troubles with. The LNG haven't really taken advantage so far. Again, the Nocturne mostly banned. We haven't seen Pantheon throughout the entire series so far. Maybe that'll change.
There's the Mel, and don't hover. This is fake. Don't do this.
I thought I got locked in for a second.
I hate Syndra here. Do not pick Syndra. We're playing into Leona here, ladies and gentlemen. BuLLDog's gonna take it. All right, so what answer does Karis have? You can go for Akali. You can go for Mel, honestly. It's not terrible. I think that WE have no front line. Like, this is a explosive composition. So you need to be winning on side lane. That is something that WE can do very well with this comp. And you need to also be willing to stand in the line of engagement. And there's a Rel on the enemy team. Who's stopping her from going in?
Nobody, honestly, and with this Aatrox pick, that still rings true. He's going to have good flank opportunities here for Cube, but he's going to have to be really on top of these flanks in order to disrupt LNG and force 1xn. And oh my god, we're getting a Kha'Zix. Somebody call Quacks.
Yeah, I'm pinging that brother right now. Quacks, wake up!
I believe he was telling me about Kha'Zix into Jace is pretty good. You get to actually just go in and disrupt them a ton.
Man, it's always funny when we have multiple junglers on the show. We have Rafa whenever a Nidalee comes out. We have Quacks, who, if you don't know, a Diamond/Masters player who is a...
No, give him his respect.
Hey,
this is Master tier, come on.
He was Diamond for a little bit, okay? Let him hold that one. He's a Kha'Zix OTP, essentially. He plays some other champions, but he's a very big one-trick of this champion. So... I gotta say, Yanni, with no real front line here, I think Kha'Zix can actually invade the Jace very early on. I think you have a winning 2v2 as well as the Syndra and this Kha'Zix. And it's up to, I think, WE to prove me wrong. You gave over the Misfortune Rel. You didn't get a very good matchup in the Sion versus Aatrox. And this is a nerfed Jace. Do I think it is meaningful enough of a nerf to bring him out? Not necessarily. I think he's still one of the best, if not the best jungler on the patch, but we have a very unique counter pick here coming in from Croco.
And this two-man unit of LNG, they're going to be able to play the two-man game so well here because you've got the stun set up and then Kha'Zix can just fly in, get an isolated Q off. If you are not careful, WE, you can get caught in transition. It's a problem they've had all year. Let's see if it comes through here in Game 4.
加油！全军出击！加油！加油！加油！加油！加油！
All right, this is the very first Kha'Zix of 2026 in a major region right now, and if I'm looking at only the LPL. It is probably the first one we've had in at least a year and a half to 2 years. Oh, actually, at the very beginning of Split 1, EDG versus TT, Xiaohao would have played it, and he did lose. It was into a Zyra.
Okay. Yeah, that seems like a difficult one to play through. We'll see if this one's any kinder on the side of LNG. As mentioned, LNG get their bot lane combo that you talked about was going to be so dangerous for Team WE to play into. Again, so many times we've seen these guys break through. I really am looking for 1xn and missing to put the game out of reach later on with their strong combo as long as they don't fall behind too early.
Both junglers pathing down bot, and I mean, something that Monki is going to have to come to grips with is that Jace is not a champion where you can be funky. You have to hit your timers. You have to be on top of your farm here. And so we're already seeing him being very respectful. No early invades. He did get some early vision from his teammates, so he will have spotted out that Kha'Zix is going towards the bottom side and doing a lot of good work to make sure that he doesn't cross through the river early on here. They didn't touch too much because of Gyos and getting excited about Kha'Zix jungle, but some interesting runes being chosen here. 1xn with a lethal tempo MF. We've got Arcane Comet Scion into Electrocute Aatrox.
Whoa.
Yeah, we're just going for
that is
the
a
poke.
lot of funk.
It is, and this is Conqueror Jace. Usually we see Electrocute in first strike, so maybe recognizing that he needs a little bit more. He knows these fights are probably going to go a little bit longer, but I just don't think that's true. It's good against Scion, but versus a Kha'Zix, I think you need the burst.
And not
I think
only
he probably
that,
just wants
it
to
feels
be
like,
a yellow tree.
Yeah, it feels like you're going to have a hard time trying to stay in these fights because you're getting knocked away by the Syndra and, you know, getting caught up by Rel. It could be a big problem.
Something on the HUD broke, so we're going back to old school here.
Oh, goodness. How do I even read this? This is like reading the ancient texts.
Oh, my God. We got the big fat player camps now, too.
Oh, wide 1xn happy
wide.
in this game.
We'll see. We're yet to see which emotion he's going to be feeling here for this game. But already, Jace, early recall, exactly what I want. Oh, wait, it was because the runes are wrong. Okay, so it's Grasp.
Okay.
It's Grasp Scion. It's First Strike Jace. Okay, so nothing is funky then. It's lethal. It's not lethal tempo on this chat. Okay, I think it was just a holdover from the last game. The HUD must have not updated. Woo!
Okay, all right. No, much less funk, much less exciting. I mean, the Kha'Zix gives us enough funk for one professional game, especially in play-ins for a team fighting for their lives. And honestly, big credit to Croco to pull that out. That takes some guts in an elimination game. You know, we're going to be talking about this LNG team as a failed experiment if they're not able to win this series and get into group ascent.
I think it's a perfect time to talk about Croco. Just coming out of the regular season, he has some of the most player of the series in the entire league and some of the most player of the games individually for his team, or just in general, right? He is currently, I think, sitting at 4 match MVPs, which is tied for first, if not one below Knight, and he's at 6 match or game MVPs, which is best in the league. So really incredible stuff, and he has looked like by and far the best jungler and maybe the best player in Group Nirvana.
No doubt about it. I do think that he was invisible at times in that series against Thunder Talk. Didn't need to be going crazy. And speaking of going crazy, they're going to go right in on Croco. Monki's going to follow him up. Nobody's there to help him out. It's first blood going over to Monki.
Good use of the priority, and they don't know. Oh, Missing has the ward, but Monki also has that vision ward. They were maybe going to get a little saucy onto this rel, but a great invade. Yaoyao has to didn't have to take his recall because About went back to lane. So a good invade there from Monki gets themselves an advantage.
Cheer dropping that ult. I'm gonna have the big dubstep drop, but not gonna get much else out of it. Dragon is available. We'll see which one of these teams wants to go for it. Kha'Zix already getting that serrated Dirk. He's gonna need to try and find some members that are all alone because getting put behind this early is tough as a champion like Kha'Zix.
He should be fine right now. It is 300 gold, which you're right is going to be pretty meaningful, but until Monki actually spends that, that's not going to be in effect. Cube has priority of the top side right now, which means that Monki is going to be finishing his on the top side and get the 3rd scuttle of the game. It's a pretty massive buff for him.
Ooh, going all in on Monki here, looking to finish him
no.
up, but Croco's gonna get pulled in by the chains. He can't get to Monki, the stun is there, but he gets turned around and killed. Unleashed Power will be able to get the kill for BuLLDog, but now it's Cube going right after him. He's forced to flash away.
I saw that in the player cam. Croco, just gotta shake it off, man. You're 0-2-1 on this Kha'Zix. We haven't actually seen in a very long time, not just here in this league, but the last time Croco would have played it, summer of 2023 in the LCK. Did end up winning that game, but it's been a while, especially for this champion who hasn't seen very much competitive play recently. He doesn't know Cube is here, but he knows Cube went down into the river, so either just forgetfulness or thinking he has just enough damage. He has serrated Dirk. I can understand why, but very expensive. Even losing his mid laner's flash in that, I think, is still a worthwhile trade for WE.
Maybe he thinks they find a way to go 2 for 1 there instead of 1 for 1. Sometimes you do have to push the pace like that. We're pushing the pace now down to this bottom lane. That bullet time. There's so much to About
getting... Honestly, he's even in the matchup right now because he has a BF sword. The Cole from 1xN is going to do a lot of work. Croco's here.
Croco sliding in, looking for Monki, but not isolated. It's good damage, but it's not enough.
I mean, Monki honestly can now just walk into his jungle and kill him. Seeing Monki doesn't have a ton of mana. I was thinking maybe he could abuse the jungle privilege that he has and just regen all of his stats, but he's going to go back to his side of the map, get closer and closer to his Youmuu's Ghost Blade that he's building towards. Nothing for LNG to do otherwise. Like, Croco has all of his bottom side camps to go for. He hasn't leveraged this bottom lane. If anything, WE have somehow found timers with the bad bottom lane matchup to invade and get that first kill.
Credit to them. Monki is fearless regardless, right? He will go and he will fight anywhere. WE thinks they have a 1% chance to win a fight. They will certainly take it. Grub's going to get started up here by Team WE. It's free for them as Croco is just unable to scrap at this point in the game.
I think if Croco wasn't 0-2-1 right now, he would have invaded for those grubs. Obviously, that would change the story of the match because Monki would not have 2 kills at this point. But I think just the fact that he is behind in this game has maybe clipped his wings a little bit. You could have pulled BuLLDog over, and yes, he would have missed a wave, which isn't great, but stealing the grubs and getting that kill onto Jace is pretty important. Now, Missing has to be careful.
Yeah, he's up very far. He got rooted. They're going to go all in on him with the Magnet Storm too. Karis is ready and lying in wait over the wall and gets his first.
I mean, missing... if you're looking at the silver lining, you got the perfect execution out from the enemy mid laner. So Syndra gets to breathe for a little bit, considering she doesn't have flash, but you've now given over a kill to the Sakali, and your team gets 3 grubs and Drake. I think that is a massive win for the enemy team, and you've got to be worried as LNG. What are we doing?
Whoa. Okay, Croco steals it with help from the bullet time, but he's just going to die.
Respect. That is a good jungler right there. He knows I'm 0-2 already. I'm not going to be very useful. Just let me steal this dragon and give my team the win. Perfect. Good job, Croco. That is adaptive thinking on the fly is the word I'm going to use.
Improvise, adapt, overcome.
It's literally in the champion.
Yep. We love it. Hey, maybe Croco will be able to find his way into the game at some point. If he's able to link up with BuLLDog, it could be much better. Karis with some good sidestepping, and that means he is just able to escape the unleashed power.
BuLLDog just needs to land one more ability there. Use the ult, scatter the weak, doesn't have it. Now, the gold, still 1,500. A lot of it is going to be in this mid-jungle, and we've talked a lot about Karis and Monki throughout this series, but really going to have to, or at least listening to post-game interviews, the backbone for this team. This is now their 2nd year playing together on this Team WE project, and at least listening it from Karis' perspective and Coach Jinjin, it was really important that this year they lock this down as a 2v2, that this is kind of the bread and butter for them, and as long as they can work together and continue to improve their synergy, that they feel like they can really go far during the 26th season.
It's been nice to see Karis stand on his own more here in 2026 compared to 2025, right? A lot of the time it was Monki and Vampire linking up to kind of unlock Karis. And if that didn't happen, WE weren't winning games. This time around, he's doing a lot on his own here. And they're going to work together, that tandem, splattering Croco in his own jungle.
They have no eyes on this Akali. And Croco just walks into his jungle, thinks it's safe. That's not the case. There's no wards here. Now going for a dive. If you can just stop 1xN from getting this wave, that is good enough. As long as you can hold them down, though, I will take it. Another jungle camp stolen by Monki. And it looks like WE are maybe just saying that that 3rd game was a mere blemish on their record. They're ready to go to Ascend.
They're getting closer and closer with each passing moment in this game. Alk. The pressure is on for LNG. If Croco can't be the guy, who is going to step up? We talked a lot about 1xN and missing. They have the combo that they want. It's a good team fight combo. As long as you can protect 1xN, you will at least have a chance.
Kind of coming down to him. That was maybe our look for the season, right? It was, all right, LNG got 1xN. Now can he deliver? It has been a question for him, is in these big moments, are you going to be able to do it enough for your team? Monki will recognize that the shockwave doesn't land, so probably my red buff is gone. Does Aatrox, however, give that same level of respect?
All right, Croco lying in wait. Let's see if we can actually get the wave in. The problem is Karis and Monki have an idea that this is happening, and they are on their way up. Uh-oh, Croco has realized, oh my god, everybody is on these objectives.
Oh no.
He has now been spotted out. He is panicking, desperately trying to escape. He will hop over the wall. Karis looking to follow, the rest of the team looking to link up.
No.
Yaoyao does not manage to find a way, but Croco is stunned up and Cube gets the kill.
And from fearless leader to potential detriment here, LNG are finding themselves 0-5-1 on Cut Quacks. If you're watching this, just look away. Just turn off the stream. You already know the result. Don't show this. This is the worst time for this to happen. Oh, why? Why, guys? We're trying to build up our players here. Production alongside us are tearing players like Croco down as WE.
This might be your chance. Okay, we can get one back here. Yaoyao is stuck. Who's getting the kill? It's 1xN.
Good. but that's not going to fix the deficit we're in. I really wish we had the new HUD for the year, mostly because I just want to see how big the gold deficit is. And because we are a co-stream, I can't just ask my producer or observers to toggle the gold difference, which makes me sad. Hopefully it'll come at a later point. 0 and 5 though, that is I know it's not the only part of this game, but it is a big part of why WE are so far ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's right now the only part that matters about this game, Alk, is that this pick has fallen flat on its face for the current moment and doesn't bring much utility, right? It's not like, oh, I'm 0 and 5, but I can stun some people up and maybe set up the rest of my team. No, you're the one who's supposed to be delivering on these kills.
Is Croco going to be able to steal it again? He's getting close to it. You know the observers, they're starting to jiggle the camera.
2,000, 1,000, he says, I'm going
oh!
again! Bullet time coming through as well. He will fall, but he is certainly making a positive impact any way he can.
0-6, I don't give a crap, man. I'm getting my 2 kills. I'm getting my 2 dragons here, guys. Don't worry about it. That's true jungle diff right there, guys. Would you rather be a Jace that is 2-1 and 3 in this game and has killed enemy jungler, or would you rather be 0 and 6 and but have both of the first dragons here in this game? It seems like we've got the HUD updated for us. We won't have keystones available. But
oh wait, Sheer? Can he kill Monki?
Gonna get this
on a sliver, and yeah, Sheer's gonna be able to run him down. Really nice play in the 3v1.
Yeah, what else can we see here? Because Kha'Zix is running out of base. They're going to go for Herald right now. Missing's on the top side, covering his Syndra. About can't do anything here in this lane. Bullet time not available for 1xN, but it doesn't matter. That Bloodthirster is giving him priority. And LNG, by both not only grabbing the 2 dragons, but also killing Monki for overextending, they actually will be able to not equalize the gold, but keep them relevant with these objectives. And that is what you need to care about, especially in a professional environment in this best of 5.
And good on Croco for quickly realizing the difference in his role and being able to still put in the effort and know, hey, I'm not doing well, but it's not totally doomed. I can do whatever I can to make my team win this game, contribute any way that I can. Not every player can do that.
I know if Quacks was 0 and 5 right now, he's mute in the call, full clear, reset. Full clear, reset.
We're right on top of about smart barrier by about there. They'll get it out. Here comes the curtain call. And it looks like things will be okay. All right, so we get a summoner out.
Yeah, he gets the trade. He's going to go for his Raptors. You see pings WE. Let's muscle in, go into the bottom side jungle, and try to push this Kha'Zix out. He's going to get his Raptors, which is a good enough trade. No red buff, but a Krugs to steal. Look at 1xN just stepping right on up to this Jhin. And trying to put as much pressure down onto the bottom side. Let Aatrox farm up a little bit, who, you know, was the subject of, I think, a few ideas of ganks from Croco, but just didn't really pan out both times.
So hard when you don't have a lot of shoving power out of the Scion. Cube never really gave an opportunity by overextending or anything like that, and good on him for doing so. We have seen many times many players on the side of WE overextend and cause a lot of problems for themselves as a team, and this game has not been one of those instances.
How crazy is it, by the way, that Monki, despite being, you know, again, Croco being 0 and 6, he's only about like half of a level up on his opponent. It is 1,500 gold, which is a lot, especially as Jace, where your items are significantly cheaper because you don't need to buy Muramana on this build. You just have to go all the cheap lethality items. Opportunity is great. The armor crush that's also on his attacks passives.
Croco! Bullet time coming through. About is able to escape. Croco doing as much damage as he can, but it just doesn't enough in the tank. Monki's looking to finish him off on the backside. Here comes the rest of WE. Cube getting knocked
out. They're going to win
doesn't have
this.
Full time anymore. Yaoyao is low and he'll finally go down, but now it's Cube trying to come through and heal up as best he can. He gets knocked up. Karis finds 1xN and will take him out, but will immediately meet BuLLDog. Now he's stealth trying to escape. Shock Blast does a lot of damage. They find Karis. They stun him up. He's so low and he gets out with a double kill. BuLLDog gets one back, but Cube's healing is just too much to bear.
By the way, Croco lived out of that play. He got out, and they were able to turn it around. A flash from BuLLDog. No curtain call to find him here. Croco's gonna summon the Herald, get the mid plates, and Dragon spawns in a mid. LNG are fighting back, where WE cannot get anything here. Oh, and about gets canceled. He still needs to recall. He'll hopefully be able to get out on the map, but Monki still dead for 10 seconds. WE are not closing out on kills here, Yanni. This is a very, very weird game. We'll take a look at this again. Re-engage. Croco's trying to sneak on through. Invisibility puts a lot of damage, and he actually hammer swings him out of the Leona ultimate there. Red Smite not enough. Flash dodges the accelerated shock blast. And just look at Scion, the space that he buys. The amount of damage up front that Misfortune provides with his Bloodthirster build. Even with Karis diving in the backline, he just jumps straight into BuLLDog. I think missing really smurfed the end of this fight. Because we get to this part where we're looking at him. He's invisible, he's invisible, he's invisible. Q stun right there onto Karis. Gets them that kill. Just barely escapes. They're not even able to finish off that onto BuLLDog, so.
Very, very close. During that replay, Team WE went and picked up their first dragon of the game. Can't believe I'm saying that. As Croco has done well to steal as much as he can and delay Team WE and allow time for BuLLDog and 1XN to get strong.
All right. This is such a weird game. If we see 0-6 Kha'Zix win a game,
I would be. I don't know.
We're
how
on
to
the
react
then we've got a reverse sweep on our hands, baby. We've got a game 5 that we would have. Dragon going over to WE is good. It stops the Dragon stacking and any early potential for LNG to lean on a soul like Infernal. Definitely very good now. BuLLDog doesn't have flash. I don't think you're allowed to be on this wave, especially with Leona on your side of the map.
Okay, for the moment he'll be just fine, but yeah, you know, if 0-6 Kha'Zix jungle did win, it would be the most unlikeliest of reverse sweeps, right? Especially after the weirdness that occurred in the third game of the series, and now we're going to get even weirder here as Croco wants to go in on Monki. He's got good burst damage. Monki is able to flash out.
Expensive trades. Expensive trades. No flash for Monki. That is a target you can engage upon later on in the game. We'll say, during that, they then crashed at least another plate on top side, so they splitting gold between him and Cube. These grubs, the grubs are actually going to give them the time they need to hit this. That's pretty cute. But with them dying, there's no minions to take away that buff, that fortified buff. So who's side laning now? Because it's better for WE because of the champions they chose in top and mid that they actually get to side lane in this game. Obviously, Aatrox's good into either one of these champions. Scion only really good, you know, can neutralize the lanes, but Akali can kind of do some magic on this Syndra. So you need to be very careful about lane assignments, and they still lost that mid tier 1.
Yeah, and speaking of Karis being able to make plays, I mean, for all the talk we've had about Croco being 0-6, Karis is 6-0. He is up 2,000 gold. He is ready to assassinate any target he comes by.
Some of those kills were because of Croco. We remember the top side, we remember the bottom side where he walks into his red buff, right? Like, some of those were because of his enemy jungle giving some donations. But it doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of things, where the kills come from don't really matter. So whether or not you can actualize that gold here. Has the Gunblade and the Shadow Flame, as well as that Seeker's Arm Guard passive ready and available. So level 15 now on this Akali. He's really dangerous if your name's not Scion.
He is absolutely massive right now. Team WE slowing down the pace a bit here in this game. We're 23 minutes in. They're not doing any of their crazy stuff, and I wonder how much of that is Monki not being on a tank. We have Croco showing up to the bot side, looking for Karis here. Here's this ultimate, not gonna land the knockup, big damage coming through. He's gone golden, and that's gonna be a lot of money into one of these guys. It's Sheer picking up 1,000 gold shutdown.
That's massive, because who on WE is gonna answer this Scion until 5 items on this Jhin? We're seeing right now WE are moving into top lane. They want to trade tower for tower right now, get your upfront gold, and try to cover for the massive bounty that just went over to LNG. Barely keeps them in the gold lead with 3,000 thanks to earlier prior work they had done. That's a really good find for them. Just equalize the map and now move into this dragon in a minute with no flash on Karis.
You can see Shear's now starting to build in some of that magic resistance to make sure that he is able to handily take Karis. Monki's up too far.
This, by the way.
Monki goes down.
Dude.
The bullet time is there, and WE are starting to get picked off.
0-6 Kha'Zix is about to smurf on you guys. You know, the peasants, they thought we wouldn't smurf. LNG come to play. Croco is making it work right now. I guess Kha'Zix mains make do. We have the dragon spawning in 30, and Monki's timer is the exact one as to when dragon spawns here. BuLLDog can teleport, and WE have no real answers to be able to do anything. They can't push on side lane. Akali's moving into this bot lane right now. They're going to try to play through mid. I wonder if Croco tries to burst out Akali, but they didn't get this Fey Light sitting in the river.
Croco is quickly trying to go from Surf to Smurf. Dragon has spawned up. They're going to go take out this crab. It's going to be 1xN and Missing doing the job. This dragon has been started. We do have WE trying to work their way in. BuLLDog trying to play bouncer for the moment. Monki is on the way. The team is very split. But they have found the Akali, stuck in the Shroud, trying to get out. And now the rest of Team W are going to try to link up and dump everything they have onto the Scion. But a good scatter of the week will stop the damage for now. Missing, still trying to frontline. Dragon, 4,000 HP and dropping. Here comes a curtain call. Shear's going to have to tank all of it up. His shield is doing enough, but Missing gets sniped. Croco's in the back of the pit. Yaoyao goes in. Karis makes his reappearance, but he does trade out. BuLLDog
Look
will
at
finally
Cube,
fall,
man.
But it's 1xN with a triple kill. He wants a bout, but he's got nowhere to go. He got fourth shot. Shear is stuck in a 2v1. Then he's desperate to try and equal. He's low on HP. Cube is so strong. Can you find a way to make this dragon contestable? The shield is
Here
up.
we go.
900 HP, 800, 500, 400.
He gets it
away by Shear. Somehow, someway, LNG remain in this game.
Look, we said this series was gonna get cooked, but it's all in a soul furnace from the Scion. Shear, my man, he gets themselves the soul point. And small mistakes I want to point out here. LNG, a lot of focus. Look at the time that is being bought by the Scion on the top side. But watch as Croco, he could have killed Karis here, but he shortchanges his jump into the wall. If that doesn't go over, if he's able to get to the other side of that terrain, I think it's a big difference maker. Maybe prioritizing the honey fruit. Either way, WE have massive control of the battlefield, but Cube wasting his flash might have been the mistake that LNG needed to try to equalize this. 1xN flashing forward, gets the kill, a triple kill, mind you. I know this game has been all about the jungles here, but every time we go back to this misfortune, it almost feels like 1xN is the AD carry here in this game.
We have talked about it so much. That is the tool that LNG uses to break walls down. Team WE have put up a very big wall, but it is meant to be knocked down. 3 minutes and 40 seconds until LNG's soul point. All of a sudden, these stolen dragons from Croco early in the game making their impact known. It's still a 3,000 gold lead for Team WE for the moment.
By the way, how does Karis have a 2,500 gold lead this entire game versus the Syndra and do 3 times less damage than him? A Scryer's alteration will spot this out. Croco is trying to look for a flank here.
Okay, Shear's ultimate didn't land on anybody, so he's just getting free hit for the moment. Karis is on top of these squishies over on LNG. Shear very low, Croco on the backside, but he can't blow up a bout. Missing though, gets in close. That bullet time doesn't hit anybody, and now it's Karis attracting more attention
right
of
now.
LNG on the side. Croco with a nice sidestep, just trying to lead him on a wild goose chase. He needs to try to survive, but it's Yaoyao who's gonna lock him up, and Monki who brings the hammer down.
They can't take Baron though, and that's what matters right now to LNG. You got critical summoner spells out. No flash coming in for Monki before this dragon spawns in 2.5 minutes, and you were able to stop them from doing the Baron. I know it's a little costly. You had to trade some here. Obviously, Croco losing his flash, but he has a jump. What an intense game. Both junglers sitting at 3 items here after starting off the game 0-6. He's 1-8 right now. It doesn't look awesome, but Croco alone has secured 2 dragons right underneath WE, and that has completely changed the pace of this game. WE could be the team that is on soul point, but they're not thanks to this Kha'Zix.
And it just makes all the difference because it gives LNG more opportunities to try to find an angle that works for them. One of the big problems right now is trying to unlock 1xN and BuLLDog. We saw it in that fight. We're not able to do so because Karis, even though he's not getting kills, he's causing a problem. He's forcing 3 members to deal with him, which means the other 4 members of WE can clean up the LNG jungle and top laner and deal with them. 29.5 minutes. Dragon now in 1.5 minutes.
Taking a look at any important items coming on through. Jin's almost on 4 right here. This is so important for him to not only get this wave, but also recall. He's missing his crit cloak and the combined cost, so 1,000 gold is what we're looking for. Can also sell the D-Blade after this minion wave and try to look for it. Endless Hunger completed for Cube, so he's going to have a lot of Omnivamp. He has some tenacity to try to help him here. I wonder how close 1xN is to finishing his LDR, because I mean, a 4th item on this Misfortune could also be a pretty big banger for them. Sheer and Missing are cut off. I wonder if they're going to let them through. I think Cube can fight.
The extra 25% crit's going to be a huge. Big poke onto BuLLDog. That's something that we haven't really seen Monki be able to do, is land a lot of this poke. Karis over on the side walking up to BuLLDog, but BuLLDog will be able to escape for the moment. LNG just trying to get whatever vision they can back without dying. 30 seconds until the dragon is up. We'll see if LNG are going to make a play for it. We'll see if Croco's got the magic in him one more time, because Infernal Soul could be the turning point.
These are the standoffs that WE's comp excel at. Jin at range. You're walking in a Fog of War versus this Jace. Are LNG even going to walk in? They know that it's almost completely warded out. Croco does have the Umbral Glaive, which was buffed on this patch. But now they're just using Scion to help them move forward. Midwave now moving in priority of LNG. Croco's going to clear another ward.
Big out of the weave.
Uh-oh.
We've got Croco and Cube just going at it for the moment. Sheer's trying to front line as best he can. They're just trying to spend a lot of time on Cube. Here's a bullet time, trying to force out Yaoyao. Karis wants in.
Karis is dead.
Karis is going golden. Karis is solo, but Cube on 1xN flashes away. And now it's LNG with the man advantage. Monki needs to get back in. Cube is healing so much, but he falls under the might of LNG. It's a double kill for 1xN. Croco somehow, some way has put LNG in a position to take the Infernal Soul. They have so much power, Alk.
And now they can even go for Baron afterwards. I'm laughing because Croco gets that kill onto Karis, and then he evolves in the middle of the team fight. He's literally sitting there emoting on them, putting the 3rd point into his ultimate. We can take a look at this fight. I mean, Scion, who was meant to deal with this in this composition, it's Aatrox, but right here, Sheer smurfing it. Big damage coming in from 1xN, and I thought he was dead. The Seekers keeps him alive, and look at Croco here. He evolves his ultimate mid-team fight.
He said,
or maybe it's the wings. I think it was the wings, but still very funny. And aside from that, like, big MVPs for me in this game, Sheer and 1xN. Sheer for playing this Scion to perfection, his role absolutely realized here in this game, and 1xN for bringing the follow-up damage that his team needed. Yaoyao now is alone, and I don't think that 1xN really wants to take this fight. There's a flank. Both solo laners of WE coming up from behind.
This is the big flank. 1xN doesn't have flash. They need to peel Cube off of him, but he's getting pulled in by the Infernal Chains. Monki can't get to him, though. Big bullet time. Rips them apart. LNG are doing it. It's a double kill for 1xN. About's been slowed up. He's forced to flash. Missing says, they will not get away from me. Triple kill for 1xN.
They're going to do it. How many triple kills are we going to give to this Misfortune right now?
All of them.
Infernal Soul, another minion wave here. How much can they get? Because there is no grubs. Maybe Sion has enough HP to just tank it. They're going to force their way through this base 30 seconds before either Cube or Monki are alive. And Yanni, who would have thought we're going to game number 5?
Team WE has not beaten LNG since 2021. After a 2-0 lead, we thought it happened in Game 3, and it didn't. We think it could happen in Game 4, but for the moment, LNG, we thought they had it. They're getting pushed
Hold
off.
up!
Karis goes in, but he goes out just as quickly. Yaoyao can't get to 1xn, but it's Croco hopping on top of the carry, and LNG cannot finish this game.
What is going on? We were maybe getting ready for game number 5, and that is not going to come true, at least for now. WE will save their base and continue to trudge on forward through the marches of time. 3 members of WE will now move. I wonder if Cube gets a little spicy. No, he's just going to go and hit the wave. There's no reason for my Leo to be picking up these minions.
All right, I thought that might have turned into something. I think Croco may have accidentally canceled his back based off of his player cam there for the moment. Wow, what a game this has turned out to be. All a crazy series of events that has occurred to bring LNG all the way back in this game. 1xn's Flash is still going to be down. That's going to be big for this upcoming fight. Missing Splash also being down means that combo is much harder for those two to execute.
I gotta say, Yanni, at this point, I feel passionate that if either team were to win, at least they delivered an entertaining series. Even if LNG somehow lose this game, I would be massively entertained. Croco, you are dead, brother. You are dead.
Oh,
all right.
No.
That is with Elder, or with Dragon up. Thankfully, no Elder for the next 2.5 minutes, but we need to see WE utilize and capitalize on this mistake.
Well, they're certainly going to try. If you can get this poke, if you can soften up BuLLDog especially, it's going to be a big difference. Already seeing some shock blasts go down on the missing. Team WE have not started this Baron up yet, but they're going to clear out the vision, and now is the time they're going to start it up. Karis over on the side, BuLLDog checking him, very well aware that he is around, just trying to keep him away for the moment, as 1xn and missing will look to move in. Baron down to about 9,000 HP. 1xn is leading the charge for the moment, stacked up with Sheer. 5,000, 4,000 HP.
Gone.
And LNG realize that they cannot do a thing about it. It's Baron to WE.
I am surprised that we don't pull the trigger there. I know it's going to be costly if we lose this fight, but if we can take some summoner spells right before this Elder, I feel like LNG can really put their boot down on this game. I mean, you have a 5-item Misfortune right now. If you land that with Sheer standing in front, with Missing applying all of his spells with this Rel, and getting that with a bullet time, you could do damage. You could force out a summoner spell from a player like Yaoyao, or even get that barrier away from a bout. Not going to be the case. WE, they would have needed to recall, and during this time, LNG are going to move into the river. Croco is again trying to find a flank, trying to find anybody who's going to walk into this dot rush, but no one is doing that. WE are going to use their Baron on mid lane and try to siege and move into the bottom side jungle. What is this flank, brother?
Okay, he's found Cube, but remember, Cube's level 19. He's able to break the barrier, and that's just the extra health that you get. Karis, he gets spotted out here, but he'll head
our
back to
observers
the
are
wave.
losing their mind. They're trying to find any kind of angle that Kha'Zix is going to flank.
Yeah.
They don't know he's back here. No eyes from WE to see where this Kha'Zix is.
Now, Sheer used his TP, so he is going to be missing this big shield for the next fight in about 40 seconds. Team WE have to know that something is up here.
They don't know what. Karis is pushing. This is the time. This is where you're going to find an advantage.
We saw Monki try to go after it. Here's a bullet time. Yeah, force the flash.
There it is!
Bounce the target, but he gets shielded up nicely. But they burst out.
Oh,
Croco.
no.
Karis from the backside. 1xn takes a lot of damage. He's got to be protected. Monki goes down. It's a double kill, but he's coming out of the GA. You can't protect him all day, though. Karis and Cube will tighten their grip around this game. Sheer on a sliver, and a bout will not finish him off for the moment.
He's gonna take all 3 blast codes. Well, Yanni, they won the fight. WE actually won the fight in this instance and stopped the Kha'Zix from blowing them up. You mentioned it there at the very tail end of that fight, where Monki was trying to predict that Kha'Zix was behind them. He throws a shockblade into the brush, it doesn't land on him. Now that is a costly death. Him now recalling and being able to get back, this could be the end of the game.
10
This is the end of the
on
game.
Croco. The first turret goes down. The second turret's under siege. Missing is dead. Croco's still dead. Team WE, the last time they lost to LNG in a best of 5. It was for regional finals, but this time they win. Go to Group Ascent.
And elation has to be the name of the game there. That was a really tough bout. Middle way of that, we were past like 15 minutes and we're like, are LNG about to come back and send us to game number 5? Wow.
Oh.
Just incredible team fighting. We wanted to see Karis step up, and while the middle portion of that game got a little hectic, that Akali and this Aatrox stood out amongst the best. Did their job, executed not only 1xN, but also this Kha'Zix pick. And WE, man, we're going to see them in playoffs in 2 weeks' time. We're going to also see them in Group Ascend in split number 2. Incredible stuff.
And for LNG, heartbreak. They had that game in their hands. Croco over aggressive after having such a difficult start to this game, but did his job well to go pick up these dragons, gave his life. But near the end, he just thought too highly of his pick and of himself. Gave away the game, perhaps. We'll never know what a game 5 between these teams would have been like, Alk. And it's a damn shame we're not living in that world.
And now we come to the reality that LNG are going to be in Group Nirvana for Split 2. Gonna have to run it back and see if they can have better luck next time in the play-ins. If we take a look back at this draft, I don't think the reason why this game was as far... Now, for the first 15 minutes, Jace was running the map. Jace and Akali, we saw them do really, really well. And then eventually, I think LNG started to get their wits about them, just letting Sheer be this frontline tank. There was that moment where Jhin doesn't have LDR yet or hasn't finished the Infinity Edge, so won't be able to really punch through this guy. I just... The leadership in this game, or the baton of who is going to be the person in front, the person giving us a victory, shifted from Monki to either of the solo lanes. I would not be surprised if I see either Cube or Karis get an MVP for this game, because that Aatrox, world ender, literally, when we talk about these team fights multiple times.
The way he was able to sustain in those fights was just so difficult for them to deal with. So many times putting 1xN in positions where he had to flash away and was not dealing as much damage as he could. We take a look at, you know, how good of a misfortune game this was. Lots of damage, but some of these bullet times, early interrupts, or only onto one target as opposed to multiple. And that's decision making where you're like, I'm not going to be able to get a full channel off on multiple guys because Cube is going to be the one to push me off, because Karis is going to be the one to push me off. They did their jobs perfectly this game, as you said. Should go to either of them.
I just look back at that game and I'm thinking of all the mistakes that Croco made, and I'm sure he himself is going to feel the weight of that on his shoulders. He goes into game 3, he goes into that game 4, he picks his Kha'Zix, right, as like this fun last minute counter, and then he dies on a 1v1 trade, which, again, if you get the flip, it goes better. We're probably in a different universe. We start talking about how great this Kha'Zix is, but he failed that. He gets invaded multiple times, and the mid game is okay because he steals the objectives. But then those last 2 fights, 1v1ing the Akali right before Baron loses you the game. Dying in that trade at the very end and not killing about loses you the game. So, have to go back to the drawing board for Croco and the entirety of LNG? Like, the decision making just wasn't there.
I just don't know why. Like, everything that Croco was doing after that disastrous early game was working for the team. And none of those involved him having these deep flanks. They were him going with an extra member of his trying to catch a member of Team WE out of position and get these chunks off, but instead they just throw their entire game plan that's been successful to this point away by doing that. It's so frustrating because this should have been a 5-game series. Team WE should have been punished for their inability to have this lead and play a clean enough mid-game to be able to make it a very clean 3-1. Instead, we're going to have so many questions for LNG. Are they even going to look the same going into Split 2?
Who knows? Let's take a look at our play-ins bracket, though, because this is the final best of 5 that we will have for a little bit of time here, folks. This is the Knights Road. I'm not all that surprised about some of these results. Obviously, the big shocker is that EDG series happening yesterday. And if you looked on paper, a lot of folks, yourself included, think that WE were the favorites coming in. And proven right, but there's a lot of folks who will only see the scoreboard and not know the story. And I think that's the special part that us here on the broadcast and the folks at home watching will get to take part in and revel.
No doubt about it. It's just so... You don't want to root for an 0-6 Kha'Zix as bad as he did in this game. And that's the part that you're going to miss. That's the part that you miss, because nobody's like, man, this guy's 0-6, look at this guy. But it's like, wow, he's 0-6, but he's done so much. That's just a small microcosm of everything that you could get out of this bracket, right? From the 3-2 of Top Esports barely beating out Team WE to LNG 3-0ing and looking questionable in the last 2 games to OMG, as you mentioned, having that upset in the lower bracket and maybe thinking that Rookie would be going into Nirvana against, their match against IG. And, despite the fact that we only had one series go 5, this was a very awesome Knights Road and sets up for a fantastic start to the actual playoff bracket in a couple of weeks.
All right, folks, there's a couple things. We'll lift the curtain here for a little bit since you guys have been sticking with us for what has been a 7-game day for us. We're currently in the middle of an interview with Monki. Once we get out of that, we will look at some of the post-game graphics like player of the game, the gold graph as well, player of the series, and then we are going to tentatively stay online, just watching the feed to see if we'll have our playoffs bracket decided. My gut feeling, having done this for a while, is that the playoff bracket, because it has to go to the teams that are already in, actually we can just take a look at our playoff bracket now. The teams have to choose who their opponents are. So AL as the first seed will have first dibs on our 4 teams that did qualify between NIP, Invictus Gaming, Top Esports, and now Team WE. Then it'll trickle down. Usually that takes a little bit of time for them to get all that information disseminated between teams and having them get that back to the broadcast. So we're going to stay online for a little bit. We're probably going to be just hanging out and watching the bracket fill out. If it doesn't happen in a timely manner, we will just close out the stream and make sure that you guys are following LPL English on Twitter to keep up to date on what the playoff bracket. Also, this is going to be our last broadcast for the next 2 weeks because there's a Lunar New Year break that always happens here in the LPL. Now, usually, because we don't usually run a 3-split year, that break is put into regular season. But because we had a 3-week regular season that ran very early to the start of the year, I think we started on the 14th of January, if I remember correctly.
Something like that.
We will be back on February 24th. Oh, okay. 16th. We started on the 16th. Okay. We'll be back on the 24th. Technically, at least I'm looking at Leaguepedia, the game is supposed to start at 11 p.m. PST on the 23rd. But again, make sure that you're following us on LPL_English to make sure that you're staying up to date. We'll be having more news about playoffs. Producer, do we want to maybe kick it to the Huya feed and just see what's going on? It's still the Monki interview.
Live interview translation, perhaps?
No. Our producer doesn't speak any, and I don't speak any, so I'm not doing this.
Okay, totally understandable. All right, so let's talk about potential matchups coming up, right? You said AL's got first pick. I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm AL, I don't really have to be afraid of anybody. I guess you're picking Team WE by default, but they do get very chaotic and can drag teams into the mess.
I wonder if AL just take top esports. Now, convention has shown that even when these teams look terrible, whether it's in the bracket or in the regular season, they will just pick the lowest seed possible. So if we were to do that, currently the lowest seed available is Team WE as the second seed coming out of Group Perseverance. I would not be surprised if they do that, also because I'm pretty sure Tarzan would eat Monki for breakfast, lunch, and dinner in that series. So wouldn't be too surprised. We are going to now see hopefully some of our post-game graphics now that we're done with the interview. But if this is the last time we see you guys until February 24th, we want to thank you guys for joining us here on the broadcast. Whether you were here for a single game, a single series, or all 6 of these best of 5s, appreciate you as you guys basically make this entire broadcast run and available for all of us here.
Yep, you know, whether you're a devout watcher, you come in occasionally, we appreciate every single one of you. It does mean a lot that you come in and support us like this. This is a labor of love, and it's a great thing to do, man. This league deserves coverage like this because series like this, again, as you said, if you just take a look at the score, it doesn't tell the story of what you saw here, and we'd be missing out on all of these stories, whether or not this series or OMG's upset or anything like that, if there weren't people who wanted this bad enough for us to say, you know what, we will go and deliver it to you. So you get through some of the highlights of a crazy game that LNG should not have been in by any stretch of the imagination.
I will say some of you are not okay in the chat. Some of you have been rather mean or outright bigoted to the people on the show, whether it's casting, crew,
we don't
or
like
production and mods. This is the only bit of accountability or any kind of attention I'm going to give you guys. You guys will be swiftly dealt with. You guys will be sent to the mines. Yeah, you guys need to chill out. This is a fan-made broadcast. These people are working for pennies on the dollar and doing it for essentially the love of the game. So please be humans. Remember that there's another person on the other side of that screen, including the players. I know a lot of people probably are getting on Croco, or at least did once they saw some of those trades. But reminder, that could be you. I guess you guys are, most of you are probably missing the skill to actually be on that stage. But
yeah, you would be doing much worse than this guy. Like, listen,
Agreed. If
you want to say, man, Croco's having a bad game, or I think Croco stinks. Okay, but you know, we've seen some things, and you can't be doing that, man. Like, no,
yeah,
we gotta.
We're getting fed some of your chat messages, guys. Look, you guys can have fun. Just make sure you're being appropriate about it. But yeah, this fight was just like, oh, Croco, we can't die here, man. Like, we can't. This is brutal. Tough. This is literally right in front of the Elder.
And then you see 1XN already missing half of his HP, and he's got to flash away, but then he flashes into a Jhin curtain call because there's just nowhere to go. Sheer can't follow him. Sheer's trying to protect him. I mean, it's just, unfortunately, they were able to surround 1XN, and you know, credit to 1XN for the series that he played, the skill that he's displayed. It's just a shame that he's just unable to get out of Group Nirvana, really. Obviously, we had that time where Undertalk were in Group Ascend, where things didn't go very well for them.
Should have just not griefed the Varus game, right? Like, that game one, he literally did not kill Ahri, and that changed the entire temperature of that game one.
You're
and
very
he's playing
right.
one of the most broken champions in pro play
Champions
right now.
0-6 in playoffs, by the way.
Yeah. Karis, player of the game, we said it was going to be either of the solo laners. That makes sense. I think player of the match is still going to be Monki. He had 2 incredible games that they won, and then even in this one on the Jace, I think he was very, very good, even though he had more Monkeyisms that we know of him.
More Monkeyisms, I like it.
Hey, look,
I
top
like the
and mid.
shoutouts for Sheer. Yep, Sheer got a couple shoutouts. Maybe we could have gotten a third vote for him, maybe. But honestly, ethical voting by the committees, recognizing who had the real game for Team WE. Player of the match is going to be Monki. Can we remove Silas from this graphic,
Yeah,
please?
the Silas game was not. That's a
He was
participation
LNG's
award.
MVP. He was LNG's MVP that game.
Yeah. The other three, I'm okay with.
He had a
Those are,
KDA of
again-
2. He had a KDA
Wow.
of 2.
Let's
And
just
a player
block that
that.
one out.
Okay. Is that the lowest KDA for a player of the match that you will ever see?
Do not ask me this question because I don't know. I'll keep it a stack
that's
with
what.
you guys.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to know off the top of my head either. That's why I'm asking. But I mean, typically you tend to see a little bit more robust numbers.
Yeah. We're going to just see some highlights. Again, we're waiting to see if they're going to announce the playoff bracket so we can do it live on air and then do anything. So honestly, Yanni, this is where usually the show ends. So we can kind of just hang out, be a little bit more, treat this a little bit more like an actual co-stream like we're
I
supposed
love
to.
hanging out.
I'm probably going to just sit down because I'm not going to stand to watch more Xin Zhao highlights. And if they put a Silas highlight in here, I'm gonna lose my mind.
What highlight? Like they're like.
All right, we
don't
skipped
know.
immediately to game 4. Good.
Oh man,
All right.
that's ridiculous. But yeah, you know what? Why go over game 3, right? We kind of knew what happened there.
Yeah. Let's talk about Riftbound. I have nothing to say about Riftbound, so.
I'm pissed off.
Okay.
I love Riftbound. I think Riftbound's a fantastic game, right?
Okay.
I didn't get in the lottery, and you know what? It happens. That's okay. I'm not going to be upset that I didn't get in or anything like that. But everybody, I know a ton of people who got in the lottery. I have 2 friends that are each getting a case, and it's like me and my buddy Hoppy, we're just like, well, I'm going to spend 5 hours driving around the entirety of New Jersey, desperately trying to find a box at MSRP so I can attempt to play in weeklies. Otherwise, this deck that I had in set 1 is going to be severely underpowered, and I'm just going to show up and get 0-3'd and burn $15 to $20 every night, and I'm going to get frustrated. I could just play solo queue at that rate. Now, as long as they fix it for set 3, they said they were going to, allocations were going to be fixed. They were going to be able to print more products set 3 and beyond. I'll believe it when I see it.
Have you considered the friends who got boxes or cases? Have you considered posting their address online?
Maybe.
It would redistribute the wealth of Riftbound packs.
It really would.
Back to the people.
I could threaten them with it and then force them to give me half of their case in order to kind of flip the script on them, right? This is a great idea. You know what? I'm in. I can just show them. We had over 10,000 live viewers. I'll blast it out in Twitch chat. I don't care.
Redistribute the wealth and harmlessly sending random strangers to people's homes. That is maybe not what I want LPL English known for. But. Again, I like the idea. I agree. As someone who doesn't really partake in too much Riftbound, it is very funny to see online the discourse. And it is like, I can't get a pack. I can't get cases. I'm an influencer, and here's Riot sending me 6 million cases and promotional material, and I will probably never tweet about this again. I can't get anything. It's just
Bouquet